to Metal Titans, Guardians of Metal Entertainment Worldwide. I'm here with Bobby Blitz of Overkill. Thank you for doing this interview with us today.
My pleasure.
Now, of course, you guys are about halfway through tour. How's tour going for you so far?
Well, it's been 30 years now.
It's been a 30-year tour.
The journey's been long, but the rewards are many. It's good to be on the road with these guys. I mean, we know them for a long period of time. They're the Jersey guys, Symphony X guys. Rehearsed at my partner Dee's studio for over a decade.
Oh my God, yeah.
So there's like Overkill's in one room recording, Killbox 13, and Jason's working on his paradiddles next door in the afternoon. So there was always kind of a camaraderie with us, and it was one of the things that we always say, wouldn't it be cool if we could all tour together, regardless of the differences. And it's kind of paying off for us at this point because, we're playing with some Symphony fans that would not normally come to see us.
Yeah.
And they're playing with some Overkill fans that would not normally come to see them. So
exactly.
I think it works out pretty good. I think it's variety is the spice of life would be the moniker for the tour.
Yeah. Now, do you notice then, like a lot of like Symphony X shirts coming to your guys' merch stand going, oh, I loved your set and stuff like that, or?
It seems to be, it's a good question. It seems to be, this is the best story I've heard so far, that Symphony X opened, and then we came on, and Eric, who just brought you down here, is our light guy in TM, and he's at the board, and there's this kid behind him going, "You suck! Get off the stage!
It's like,
bring back Symphony X!" I mean, we've been doing it long enough, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't bother you anymore, but...
By the end of the show, the kid, he goes, the same kid is leaning, he's foaming at the mouth with the Overkill chant. Overkill, we want more. So I think that obviously it's working, is what my point is. At least it's for him anyway.
Yeah. No, it's funny to hear stories like that because you always laugh at the person that's going to be the one that's like, you suck. And it's like, wait till you hear the whole thing because you never know. By the end, you might feel differently.
You're 100% right. And I think that both bands are professional enough and have done this for a long enough amount of time that we're comfortable on stages, I mean, if you ask me what I like doing the most, I like standing on the stage at the Vogue. I mean, that's the most important show for me, and I think if you think of it that way, every day can be a success.
Yeah. Now, speaking of stages, like when you play on tours, like in the U.S., they're more like clubs, venues, and when you go to Europe in the summer, it's more like festivals experience. Do you like one over the other, or do they both benefit in a way?
Well, I mean, they're both exciting. But obviously, I like presenting our Overkill in under our terms, and that becomes more the theater club kind of a thing, where we can bring our lights in, take our time to set it up, find out all the little idiosyncrasies and tweak and ratchet down the nuts and the bolts. And you can't do that at a festival. You have to do what's called a throw and go.
Yeah, just throw it in there.
Throw it up there.
Just throw them up there.
You're on them. So it's a different world, but the excitement always with regard to, the volume of people is great at a festival, but I love the control. I mean, I start every show with saying, just so you know, I'm in charge because I say so.
This is my rules, my house, my rules.
Got any questions? Ask me.
And if you have a question I don't like, get out. Now, of course, the rumor has been spilled on the internet that you guys are writing for a new album already. Any hints as to what we can expect for the next one, or is it still a little too soon?
Well, I mean, we just started the stove,
Yeah, it's still a little...
We just filled the pot with water, and but we're kind of always writing, so it's really easy to spill that information. I mean, if you do this for as long as we do, it's not, there's no like vacations on desert islands with supermodels and, cocaine problems. We're hardworking New Jersey guys,
Yeah.
So we're happy to be working. So again, we're always writing, but I think one of the more interesting things that I've noticed about the later years for us is that there's less communication about what we're going to do.
Yeah.
It's more about unspoken communication, so that I surprise Dave, who surprises Dee Dee, and Dee Dee surprises both of us. And that's kind of like, wow, that's really cool. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
As opposed to trying to ratchet it down with words, because words and music are not it's not the best way to write music, especially this.
Yeah.
We have no identity crisis, and we know who we are. I can tell you this, it's going to be an Overkill record for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the honest answer.
That's good. No, I'm sure everyone's excited for that either way. As soon as I saw that online, I'm like, oh, I have to ask in case maybe he'll spill the beans a little.
They're not as excited as I am.
not yet. We're still anxiously like on our edge of the seat at this point. Yeah.
I've spent 35 years avoiding manual labor. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. The most labor is like performing on stage. Let's put it that way. Yeah, but that's fun labor. Yeah. That's not the same. Now, of course, too, you guys recently released Overkill, which has your back catalog of albums. What made you decide this was the time to release?
Well, metal's popular again. Back in the 90s, a whole bunch of people went home. Started working for mom and dad, lived in their basements, chain smoked, and wondered why nobody.
Cocaine problems. Yeah.
How come nobody doesn't like me anymore? Because you're chain smoking in a basement. You're not doing it. But I mean, and it's not everybody, of course not. But this was one of the bands that said, to hell with popular opinion. And I think it's always kind of been our moniker was to please ourselves first. But I do think that we have. With the revitalized popularity of metal, the newer entries into this, the younger generations, are exposed to Overkill, Ironbound, to White Devil Armory, and maybe those first records because they wanted that bite of history. But they forget about 90 to 2005, 2007, 95 to 2005. And this is like a crash course in, hey man, there was still some great fucking releases back then, So if you really want to catch up and have the full idea, this is a great way to do it. And it's also a business thing. I mean, we understood this from business, right, from the get-go, and that we had to adapt, readjust. And this is a good way to keep ourselves visible and also give people a taste of a decade of time when, metal was a dirty word, unpopular.
It's unpopular, but it's growing.
Yeah, but there were some guys still throwing the middle finger up. A couple from Jersey I know were saying, hey, we're not going home yet. We're not done.
No, we're not done. Now, on a more personal note, like when you guys tour, do you guys get like a chance to really explore and go and see things that you want to see in every city or like country you go to, or is time really restricted when you do that?
It's not everywhere, but for sure, I mean, doing this amount of time, of course I've been to the Eiffel Tower, and I've been to the Coliseum in Rome, and the Space Needle in Seattle, and I was never at Rogers Arena here.
Not Rogers Arena.
But I used to go on days off. I would around the U.S. I'm a baseball fan and I'm a hockey fan, so I go to like arenas on days off or baseball parks and catch a game. So I mean, I like doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with the travel. I think the hardest thing is that when you're home, you wish you were on the road. When you're on the road, you kind of miss home a little bit.
Yeah.
But it kind of keeps it all, kind of in a pretty decent balance.
It's a vicious circle. You want to be on the road at home, you want to be,
It's a psychosis, is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you, Bobby Blitz, for doing this interview with us here at Metal Titans. Before we finish, anything you'd like to say to your fans out there?
Good to be on Metal Titans. You should stay right here because you're in the right place.